Hello, my name is Jeff Madison. I'm a pastor here in Rochester, Minnesota, at a church called Hope Summit Christian Church, and I'm here today to talk to you about how I am also bipolar. Back in the winter of 2017, I was diagnosed as bipolar type 1. It was a difficult thing to accept at first. I rejected it. In fact, as soon as I received that diagnosis, I refused to believe it. I thought that being bipolar meant that you were kind of crazy, right? And I hated the idea that there was something wrong in my head that I couldn't control. Uh, even though I was a licensed counselor and therapist, even though I had taken a national test and I had had years of counseling to help me, I still just refused to believe it. It wasn't until I started talking to my friends and my family and telling them that I had received this diagnosis and hearing feedback from them that that they accepted it right away. In fact, it was a conversation, one particular conversation with my friend named Sam, who said, he kind of laughed and said, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Like he almost accepted it so casually that it kind of shook me. Like, and he just said, "Jeff, come on, like think about it. You have these highs. You experience the joy of life in a way that I've never seen, but you are also the guy that experiences lows in a sometimes in a really scary way." This was a close friend of mine who knew me better than most people, and that's what it means to be bipolar type 1 is these manic states of not just low and depression but also highs. And after talking with him and again family and other friends, it became clear that, and I had to kind of accept that maybe I wasn't seeing myself as clearly as I thought. And so I accepted this diagnosis. I continued to meet with this therapist, this counselor, and we talked about what this meant. We talked about what it could mean for medication and what it could mean for just everyday living, and accepting this diagnosis in a way of what it meant to rethink your thinking and what it meant for that. And that was hard. That was a great challenge to be willing to take medication. That was hard. I didn't like the idea of having to be dependent upon a medication, but I am, and it helps. It helps even out. I don't experience low lows like I used to, but I also don't experience high highs, and sometimes there is a part of me that misses that. Because I could experience joy in a tremendous way, excitement in a tremendous way, but at the same time, recognizing that manic state would come with a swing in the other direction to sometimes very scary low places. I'm thankful to have a medication that helps kind of even me out, but also recognizing just in my day to day life, when I start to ramp up, allowing myself to calm myself, ramping up, but also when I see myself starting to feel low, pulling myself back, right? And the tools that my therapist gave me, and also that my faith gives me. I My faith plays a major part in this. Allowing myself to accept that I'm broken is a major part of accepting the fact that I need Jesus in my life and daily need Jesus in my life. The people who are bipolar often feel worthless. It's a very normal thing, especially in those lows. They just feel worthless, like they're not. And my faith in Christ reminds me that I was worth something. I was worth Jesus coming from heaven to die for my sin, and that just brings me so much worth. And so my faith plays a major part in my response to my disorder, and has helped me in mighty ways. In fact, I think before I started taking medication, before I accepted this disorder in my life, I believe it carried me in mighty ways before I ever started getting some of the help that's out there. But now together, with help from my therapist, with help from my faith, with help from medication, I can tell you, mentally, I've never been in a better place in my life. I wish, one of the questions I was asked was what I wish more people knew. The biggest thing is that I wish more people understood that this isn't just something that I can turn off and on. It is something that is a disorder. A friend of mine, when I was coming to terms with this, his name was Russell, he said, "You know what, Jeff? especially coming to terms with the idea of taking medication. I really didn't want to be dependent on a pill. He said, Jeff, if your doctor came to you and said you were diabetic, type 1 diabetic, and that your body just naturally wasn't producing the right kind of insulin, and he said you just need help because your body is just doing something. It's just broken. It's just not doing the right thing, and it's not your fault. Would you receive help, or would you deny it and say, well, I need to be stronger? I said, no, I mean, if it's not my fault, I would just take the help. He said, this was what this is. It's a disorder. You can't help it. Your head is kind of twisted up, and this medication and the help from the therapist and again, the faith, these things are here to help you even out. And so just accept it. And I think sometimes people hear bipolar, and they, again, just like me, they thought, oh, that person's crazy. No, we're not crazy. We just experience highs and lows in a different way. And it can get very manic, and especially the lows. I have a friend who's bipolar type 2, and his lows last a long, long time. And it requires a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, because he can stay in this low state a really long time. I also wish that people understood, especially people close to me, could understand that when I hit these lows, that I'm fully aware that I am hitting these lows and that I hate it as much as they do. They often get sad for me because they can see that I'm just down and I don't know why, and they don't know why, and they want to help and they can't seem to help. And I try to help myself and it can't seem to help. And I just get in these lows, and it just takes time sometimes to get out. And I just wish people knew that, and especially those who are in this as well. If you are bipolar as well, the best advice I can give you is just to remember that, just like, I mean, right now it's spring, and we're in the middle of March. And, the things I grew up learning is that March comes in like a lion and it leaves like a lamb, right? Well, sometimes that's bipolar, man. It comes in like a lion, and sometimes it's really scary, but it will change. It will. You will come out of that swing. So don't lose faith that, like, you're not going to stay this way forever. You will come out of it. And so when I feel myself start to kind of go downhill and start to lose, or sometimes I get really angry, right? I tell myself, you know what? This is just that disorder speaking, and it'll pass. It'll pass. And I'll get back to myself. And I'll even just say that to my wife and my kids. I'll say, hey, you know what? I'm just kind of down, but I'll be okay. Just give me some time and I'll come out of it. And I would tell people that if you're facing this, or even if you think you're facing it, get help, and don't be afraid to get help. And again, I mean, I'm a pastor, so I'm going to say this, like, Jesus changed my life. And I really do believe that he carried me. He carried me so far before, I was in my 30s before I was willing to accept this diagnosis. He really did give me so much worth, and really carried me before any medication or even counseling could. He gave me so much, and I had a family and a wife, and we were doing well before this, but all this stuff has just helped me even more. So I just say, do all of it. Accept all the help you can get. So thanks for giving me a chance to share. It really has been quite a journey, and I love to share and to say, like, man, you can have a great family, you can have a great life with this disorder. It doesn't have to keep you down. It's just kind of like sometimes you limp a little bit, but like I said, seasons change, you'll get through it, and man, you can live a great life with it. So thanks, friends. We'll see you later.